Lightweight meat here, and cannot wait to see if Alex Hernandez is ready to step up again after he just got knocked out like 6 weeks ago and acquired a lot of damage. He's coming in on short notice too against Jim Miller, aka A10, who has the most wins in UFC history, a definite UFC Hall of Famer at some point, and a plus 190 dog in this one, despite having won 3 straight fights and Alex Hernandez having lost the last 3 of 4. So kind of interesting stuff here, especially coming on late notice. And granted, if you inspect Alex Hernandez's losses, they are always against tough guys. He just got finished most recently by Billy Q, who's a top 15 fighter. He got finished by Renato Moicano, who seemingly is peaking shortly, and Thiago Moises, whose basically only loss is to Islam. So decent losses. He does have a win in between there against Mike Breeden. He steamrolled him in 80 seconds, and that was light work, but Jim Miller just keeps coming into fights as a dog and keeps finding ways to get victories. I mean, against Nicholas Mata, he was like a 3-1 dog. Absolutely slept him early often and did the same thing to Eric Gonzalez, who I don't even know if he's fought in the UFC since Jim Miller. Absolutely just sucked the air
Sucking the air out of the room
from his hype. So what are your thoughts on this one? What do you make of the odds? Are you a little surprised that Alex Hernandez is minus 225 despite all those facts and coming in on short notice? And do you think Jim Miller might be juicy beef?
I think this is another one of those cases of the last 3 losses that Hernandez has taken where the odds makers and casuals see opportunity and they see hype and youth, while we say absolute advantages on Alexander the Great Ape sucks. He sucks so bad. Jim Miller is peaking. Even though he's 39, he's going to demolish this kid just like Cowboy Cerrone did. I think Hernandez is in over his head. I think he's getting cut after this fight, which is sad because, I mean, the dude's specimen, absolute insane physique. He seems like he's got a lot of skill, but his chin is sus. And how do you deny Jim Miller? He's been smashing all of these young guys, and I just don't see any different. I think Jim is going to get it done. He's the grittier guy. He's durable. I love this dog play, and I mean, I just don't know how you don't go with Jim Miller when you're looking at the trajectory of both of their careers and how well they've been performing the last few times. Let's be honest, Hernandez isn't getting better. That's what we've figured out. Even with the wins in between a lot of those losses in the last couple of years, there's nothing new. There's nothing, oh wow, he's really leveled up or he's trying. It's just like he's coasting. He's kind of a veteran. You would think he's 45, been in the sport forever, but he's only 30, sadly. He should be peaking, but he's only getting worse. So I think Hernandez, his chin is sus. His grappling is sus. He's a one-pump chump. As it gets to the second and third round, Jim Miller's going to put on a clinic. But Hernandez does have bombs, so anything can happen. He should win. Like, he 100% should win. So I think that's why people are picking him, and he's such a big favorite. But you got to remember, this guy sucks. Just like Shane Young. You know, this guy's going to BKFC. This is a Shane Young repeat.
Yeah, great points for sure. Well taken. And I think you just summarized Alex Hernandez, aka the Great Apes career, quite aptly. And it's interesting for Alex Hernandez because if you remember, like this guy came into the UFC by storm, right? He finished Beneil Dariush. It took him 10 seconds. He was a plus 450 dog, and Beneil basically hasn't lost since then, and is seemingly impossible to finish. So to come in and make such early noise and perform that way, I almost think that it kind of did him a disservice when we look at the longevity of his career, because he came in with so much hype and he really just hasn't been able to live up to those what became lofty expectations for him. And again, sometimes he's in close fights, but other times he's not. And against Billy Q, he really did acquire a lot of damage. And I think that, if Billy Q is able to tag him like that, then Jim Miller has a well-rounded enough game to probably do the same. And you touched on the groundwork as well. I mean, Jim Miller is a serious black belt. Likely he'll be able to get this fight to the mat. And if there, then Hernandez is probably going to be pretty helpless. So I'm seeing it the exact same way you are. At plus 190, I think A10 is absolutely serious beef. And if we look at Tapology, 65% is rolling with him as well. Majority copper going for that sub, kind of like we are pinpointing. But some KO, some beige as well. Only 35% is rolling with Hernandez. And I was a little surprised to see all of the brown. I mean, The only times Jim Miller has gotten finished early was by Bronx Oliveira. He got submitted, and then Dan Hooker was able to knock him out, in the first couple minutes or so. Do you think that you touched on Hernandez being a one-pump chump? Is his only pathway a first-round KO? Because I feel like that might be the case.
Yes, 100%. I think he has to get it done early and often in the first, first round for sure, probably even early before that. I just don't think he's going to. I don't think he's got the skill set to get Jim out, but that's his only path to victory. If he doesn't get it done in the first round, he's just going to slowly deteriorate. That's just what we've seen. Maybe he's leveled up. Maybe he's on PEDs. Maybe he's the GOAT now. I don't know. I'm not going to believe it till I see it.
Yeah, and it's tough to, how much better can you really get in just 6 weeks, right? Because again, this is short notice. Billy Q just did what he did on December 10th, 2022, so not long ago. He's replacing Mowgli in this one. Mowgli versus Jim Miller would have definitely been interesting. Hopefully we could see that sometime, but as a short notice favorite in this one, with you all the way, taking Jim Miller. I like him by second round submission, maybe third if somehow Alex is able to survive that long, but seeing it the same way as you, Meat Boy, I think this is some juicy beef. Any last thoughts?
No, it's a fun fight. Thought in the comments. You taking the veteran or are you taking the bum young Alexander the Ape?